is right. We can talk about anything you like. Just listen. Take a walk right over to my kitchen. What you wanna do? Come mix it up with the stew. So tell me what you wanna do. Come mix it up with the stew. Yeah, come mix it up with the stew.
Welcome to a brand new week. It is a different week altogether because it is the new week, official week, that the FNM is now the official government of the Bahamas.
Yes, congratulations to the Free National Movement, to the leader and newly elected Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. Hubert Minnis, and of course all the supporters and everyone that
before we
voted.
jump into it though,
Les, yes,
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Anise,
yeah, welcome back.
Good to see you, and I'm Janae.
Yeah, so yes, we have a new government, which was a resounding landslide sweep of the Progressive Liberal Party, leaving them with a very small number of members of parliament representing their entire party. I mean, it was shocking. What were you both thinking as it was happening, as the numbers were coming in?
Boy, you know, this reminded me of not the last election. I think it was the one before where, you know, Bahamas did the same thing. They did a clean sweep. And, you know, people exercised their right to vote, and the people spoke. They want accountability. They want transparency. They want so many other things, and they just weren't happy. So I can't say that I was surprised. You know, we were at the parliamentary registry when they were announcing their results. And literally, by the time we got through the third constituency, maybe, it was very clear that it was going to be a landslide, and I can't say that I was surprised at all.
I was shocked at the landslide, though. I won't say. I knew that obviously there was going to be some kind of a shift, but when the numbers were coming in such great numbers and such a huge gap, that completely took me by surprise. I thought it would have at least been maybe a little bit closer. But
jumping into the FNM's agenda and what we'd like to see happen first, their first order of business, definitely for me would have to be getting the dump sorted out. This has been an ongoing issue, so if they could now show some initiative to a plan to actually get it under control, because I mean, think about it. Kids are, you know, kids with asthma can't really deal. You know, it doesn't do great for our environment if we keep burning the dump. So, you know, things like that. And, you know, listening to all of the wonderful live feeds that we had here on ILTV Studios, it was something was mentioned about FNM having a chance to do it before, and now they have a chance to do it again.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to education reform. I think if we can impact and change education for the better, that affects everything else in the country. That affects employment, that affects the development of our economy and the growth of our economy.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution, crime. It's literally the roots of everything. And if I can see a real aggressive tackle on education, I would be a happy camper.
I think we also need to get that Freedom of Information Act enacted. That has to go through so that there can be accountability. There can be transparency. We can know how and where our monies are being spent and allocated towards, you know. I would, however, as well, in all honesty, speaking of VAT, VAT needs some reform in and of itself. You know, take VAT off of health, medical, and insurance services, like completely. It absolutely blew my mind when VAT came into being that these things were VAT taxable. Like, really, you're gonna tax health services, you know, and breadbasket items. Get rid of VAT on those, and anything else I can understand. But
So the fact that, you know, the elections did happen, FNM won by a landslide, but then the DNA and the other smaller parties and independent candidates did have some shine.
Yes, they had some presence.
They had something. But when do you think we as a country will be ready to vote outside of the FNM PLP lines?
I think we're seeing it already. I dare say even by, you know, within the next 5 years. And I think we can clearly see that in the election that had just passed, that people weren't necessarily voting based on party loyalty, but they were just voting for, we want change, we want different. And I mean, look at the youngest member of parliament, Travis Robinson, at 22 years old, making history. And we're now seeing history again with Dr. Hubert Minnis being the 4th Prime Minister, like never
finally.
been, you know, finally, you know, it was more than 40 years, you know, 40 years. So I think Bahamians are definitely ready to just explore whomever has
revolution.
It's coming. I honestly think it's going to happen within a decade. We've got 2 more, you know, terms coming up for 5-10 years. And yeah, I think a third party will have more presence or more of a
independent candidates.
Yeah, by then for sure. Definitely.
But speaking of change, what needs to change?
With what? Oh, you mean the Bahamas?
Yeah, what does the new
overall?
Bahamas look like? What needs to change for us to see this beautiful?
We need to get rid of the corruption. We really do. We need to, you know, stop all of the, you know, dipping in the cookie jar kind of thing. All these contracts that people are assigning to family and friends, and secret contracts and deals that are going on underhanded.
I was so happy in the wake of scandal and corruption. I was so happy to see some of these MPs actually get off of their high horse a little bit.
Get the boot?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think like it had to be stopped. But I think I don't know, a better Bahamas for me looks like industries that are supported outside of tourism.
Yes.
You know, like I think it's so crippling to just bank on just one industry that can be a flip or flop. And that can be impacted, you know, based on what other countries are offering, and you know, we know. So I would love to see more support being offered.
Seasonal.
Yeah, so seasonal, being our number one source.
Being our bread and butter.
Yeah, and I mean, people have talents in other areas, so let's develop those things. But I think that we are too talented and too dynamic of a people to be limited to one industry, and so I cannot wait for the day when the fine arts areas, entertainment, sports, the list can go on and on and on, but there's so much to be explored and we're not tapping into it. So that's a better Bahamas. That's what it looks like for me.
For sure. So, guys, did you experience any breakups during this whole season yet?
Have you lose family and friends
are you guys still in relationships?
My family dare not.
Yeah, no, fortunately, I have maintained all of my relationships.
Have you?
Yes, so good going for that. I'm happy about that.
There we go.
So,
you heard that. Wow.
Speaking of 2022, ladies, where do you see yourselves in 5 years?
Wow, I literally got butterflies the moment you said that. What a heavy question. Can I tell you what?
First of all, they ask in interviews all the time.
And I hate it.
What's your short-term goal?
Literally, for every time they ask me that, I'm like, can I just say I don't know right now?
I know, and can that be okay?
No, I have to be honest. Usually I do have like a politically correct answer. I want to grow in my career and I want to do... And honestly, some days I just don't know. I'm literally just trying to figure out this week. Like, can I just get past Monday? And then, the most I can say is I want to be far more active in my community. All of the goals, everything that I want to see in my country, I want to be an activist in my own right and impact change in my most direct environment. How that's going to happen, I'm still trying to figure that out because I don't believe an activist looks the same across the board. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to be marching or, you know, protesting, but, you know, activism can be executed in other ways. And I'm looking forward to that in myself in 5 years. The rest, I literally just trying to get through Monday. Like, just let me get through Monday, okay? That's all I know.
No, I definitely made my 5-year plan maybe 3 years ago, so I'm still in it. You know, so I mean, so it's a very hard question. Ask me in 2 years, I'll know exactly what my 5-year plan is at that point. But yeah, you're right. It's all about. I mean, you have a plan in your head of where you think you should be, but you just don't know that road. And everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different path to take. Now, I don't know what God has set out for me in terms of that path, but I know in my mind there's this halo that's like, okay, there it is. There's where I need to be.
When you get there, you'll know.
When I get there, I'll be like, whoo, well, that journey was, well, God, you really set that one up for me, but I'm here. and it's great.
Yeah, personally, I just
I like that.
I could do without the pressure, to be honest. You know, I mean, sure, it's great to have plans and goals and ideas of where you'd like to be or things that you'd like to accomplish, but when life throws you those curveballs and you end up with certain setbacks and you're like, whoa, now all of a sudden you've got to deal with something completely and entirely unexpected. How do you deal? Next thing you know, you're just beside yourself because you've gotten thrown off course. I say, yeah, take it one day at a time. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, as long as you've got health and life and breath in your body and you're physically able, do what you can in small increments and go from there. That's my take on it.
Okay, Les, that's interesting, yeah.
Don't get me wrong now. I'm not saying don't have no goals. Please. I'm not saying that by any means.
I think you got to make at least one goal. I mean,
no, of course.
Making it to Monday is a really good goal.
Yeah. But I'm just feeling like don't beat yourself up if things don't always go
that's
your
the thing,
way.
and that's the journey thing, right?
That's
the journey might be different, and there's all kind of twists and turns in this life thing. So
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Well, in closing, ladies, we're gonna wrap this segment up. We actually have a clip of our new Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Hubert Minnis. Let's go to that right now.
Dr. Hubert.
Yes, the Honorable Doctor.
The people, I think the people are informing governments that it's now the people's time. They want honesty, they want transparency, they want integrity in government. The governments must understand that the people are the employers. The governments, the politicians are the employees. And therefore the people are saying act accordingly. We the people are your bosses, act accordingly. We want transparency when things are being done. We want it done in the open. And we are requesting a change. And the amount of people here today demonstrate that they are prepared and they will ensure that changes come.
Welcome back to the Stew. Thank you so much for joining us. Election season has been quite the whirlwind and an emotional one for us all. And one person who is definitely in the middle of that whirlwind is the newly elected MP for Bain and Grantstown, Travis Robinson. Join us in welcoming him. Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Oh man, I'm excited.
Welcome.
I feel like I should ask for your autograph.
I know.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
for
We are so honored that you can be here with us.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations. You have made history in the Bahamas.
Yes.
The youngest elected member of parliament. Travis, what does that even feel like? Can you even describe what that feels like?
That the emotions are so overwhelming. I'm just excited. I'm optimistic about the future, and I'm just, ultimately thankful to God for this opportunity.
That is incredible. Now, again, you are elected for Bain and Grantstown, and we understand that you've done quite a number of community initiatives within that constituency already. Can you tell us a little bit more about your youth program and all the other work that you've been doing?
Yeah, well, in Baintown, even prior to coming into politics, I have a number of mentorship programs at the various schools. Rising Star Meal Mentorship Program. We do soup kitchen for the elderly, the back to school drive. We have a group of individuals that assist residents of the community in finding work and employment. And so, just a little something of what we've been doing.
So you're definitely a humanitarian, but now you are officially a politician. So there the stigma is about to start. But before we go into that, why don't you tell us how you even got into it and what made you want to even kind of dive into politics?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, I did a number of programs in the area, and then the people of the community felt as though I was doing such a good job. I remember on a few occasions they asked me, man, Travis, you know, we think you should go out there and run. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so after I tossed it on the side for a few times, I finally asked them why, and they said, listen, you're doing the job we expect our MP to be doing right now.
Wow.
And so I finally made the decision at that time to run as a 21-year-old independent candidate.
Wow.
And so having doing that, it just blossomed into me transitioning into the Free National Movement, and now ultimately the Member of Parliament for being a grandson.
So, Travis, not only are you the youngest Member of Parliament elected and creating history in the Bahamas, you've also done something that I'm sure a lot of individuals thought was going to be pretty impossible, which was going up against a giant in the community as well as a giant in politics. You beat out Dr. Bernard Nottage. For this particular role.
Yes.
What was your thought process going through that experience, and what kind of restrictions did you come up against in going through with it?
Well, the journey has certainly not been an easy one for me. Going up a person like Dr. Nottage. Firstly, I want to say that, Dr. Nottage has certainly done well for himself. He's elevated himself among his party ranks, and what happened on May 10th was simply a passing of the baton, from one generation to the next. And so it is on his shoulders and other men and politicians like him that I stand today. But the challenge was not an easy road. When we look at financial challenges, when we look at challenges of finding workers, committed, dedicated persons, there are just sometimes when I went home after campaigning, and I'm like, okay, this is it. Where's the number? Call Dr. Minister. It's one of them. But nonetheless, I stuck in there. I kept the faith, and I had some dedicated core team. Be it was only 4 core members. Of course, I had other persons that made up the complete team, but I had 4 core persons that really brought it through to the end.
A lot of people online are very curious as to which Member of Parliament will be given certain industries, if you may, or certain ministries rather. Yeah. And we understand that you were the Junior Minister of Tourism before, and Hospitality Management was your major. Do you have a specific interest, or if you had to pick or choose a ministry, what would that be?
Well, I'd prefer. I would rather not say at this time, but I know that I will be playing an active role in the upcoming government.
Yeah. Okay. So let's ask also. So now that the FNM is the party elect, tell us, what do you want to see in terms of changes in the country? What's on the forefront for you?
Well, definitely, I want to make sure that we in this government drill down on accountability, transparency, and more, more proper spending in terms of budget allocations.
Fiscal responsibility.
Fiscal responsibility, correct. And, that's my 3 major areas that I want us to drill down on, because at the end of the day, everything rests and falls on transparency, accountability, fiscal responsibility.
Yeah, it sure does.
And if you cannot master those things, then everything else is just going to fall to the bottom out.
Travis, so recently, as the world knows, France elected a 39-year-old president. We've got the Prime Minister of Canada, who's just in his 40s, and even Obama himself was, very young, getting into being the first black president of the United States. So we're seeing this trend of 30-somethings, 40-somethings coming up and ruling entire nations. Do you see yourself in any way heading towards a possible role for leadership of the country? I'm getting it, because to be honest with you, I just posted something like that this week on my social media, saying that, you know, whatever young, progressive, outgoing, game-changing politician is that's out there, you've got 5 years to prepare yourself. So, hey, let's do this.
You got Leslie's vote.
What about you personally? Do you see that in your future at all?
Quite frankly, right now, it is not my aspiration. It is not my aspiration at this time. In fact, I do not intend to be in politics very long. I know I'm coming into it pretty young, and that's partly because I'm not a traditionalist. You know, tradition would teach us, you go to college, get a degree, get your job, you do this, you become successful, and then when you get 50, 60, then you go into politics, sorry. But, you know, I think that's what's been keeping our nation stagnant for so many years. You have politicians who have then given their best to their personal agenda, then in their accident phase of life, 50s, 60s, they want to give to the country. No. You know, my thing is, in my youthfulness, when I have youth, energy, passion, vision, let me give that to the country at this time.
That's awesome.
Once I've done the best I can do, then let me set sail into my own agenda.
Wow.
You know,
That's
amazing.
That is.
So before we wrap up, we heard that your birthday, you share a birthday with one guy.
a very
who works
interesting
there.
gentleman.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'll tell you after the break. So thank you again. We're talking to the Member of Parliament for Baines and Grantstown, the youngest MP in the Bahamas. Amazing, amazing achievement, and we're so grateful that you came on the studio to talk to us about your agenda.
Thank you.
So congratulations again. So after the break, we'll be back with more of the new wave that has come in, and we've passed silly season, guys. I know you're excited. I am. So it's now a new era that we're going into. We'll be right back. Hi, and you're watching your Fab Frugal Tip of the Week. Now, it's a brand new week, a brand new wave rolling through. It's a good time to start up something new. So today we're going to talk about online businesses. Do you want to start something with low overhead costs? Well, that would be that. It would be having an online business, but there's definitely some things you need to know. So the first thing that you must think about when you have an online business is that you've got to get multiple sources of income, multiple streams of income, ways that you can actually make money from your online business other than your core business, which might be to sell shoes, to sell clothing, to sell food, for example, whatever it must be. But you might have, let's say, a website where you can sell ads and make money that way, or you can actually develop an affiliate program where you actually get money from people, from referring people to other people's websites. You know what I mean? So there's different ways that you can actually make money by having an online business. So when you think about an online business, you actually have to have one of the most compelling stories that you can tell. Your online business is a representation of you, but more importantly, it's online. People don't actually get to personally connect with you unless you're face-to-face. So online, you've got to have a really, really deep story, a compelling story that makes people want to know who you are, know what your business has to offer, and also have a value add in that way. So one thing that I found is crucially important, very important, is outsource, outsource, outsource. You don't have to do everything yourself. You can have people in the virtual atmosphere that actually do things for you, from branding to logos to design to building websites. You can outsource these things so you can actually really focus on the core business and focus on your story and what makes you unique. And that's how you're going to get a successful online business. Remember, work is all intertwined in it all. But here are absolutely some great tips that you can do if you're thinking about starting a new online business and a new wave in your life. just like a new wave this week. It's a brand new week, like I said, and it's time for us to get busy. So this is your Fab Frugal tip of the week. You'll see me next week with another Fab Frugal tip. We'll be back after this.
Well, what can I say? Having the youngest member of Parliament elected in Parliament right here in the Bahamas was certainly inspiring. Travis Robinson, thank you so much for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to be here with us today. I feel fired up, ladies, because it is certainly a new day. It's a new week. It's a new era. And we are all looking forward to working together to do our part to make our country better. Thank you so much, Travis Robinson. And thank you, ladies, as always, for the fabulous conversation. Hey, you can catch up on all the episodes that you've missed. The Stew Daytime on Facebook and across social media, IL TV Studios. Be sure to catch up on The Stew. We will see you next time.
When the vibe is right.